Imagine this, a formidable city, high walls, impenetrable defenses, boasting an intimidating reputation. It's seemingly unconquerable. But what if I told you that this city fell not due to brute force or cunning tactics, but something else entirely? A city fell after a trumpet blast. Welcome to the channel. And today we're diving into the fascinating account of the fall of Jericho. If you'd like to follow along in the scriptures, we'll be looking at Joshua chapter 6, verses 1 through 27. As we delve into this narrative, we'll be discussing 4 key points. First, the impenetrable walls of Jericho. Second, the strange march around the city. Third, the trumpet blast that shook the foundations. And fourth, the resounding victory and the lessons it holds for us. Let's jump right in. The first point, the impenetrable walls. Our story unfolds with Israel poised to conquer Jericho. This city wasn't just any settlement. It was a pivotal strategic point, one that had stood strong for years with its imposing walls seen as a symbol of its invincibility. The challenge before Joshua and his troops was clear. How do you conquer a fortified city without lifting a sword, without battering rams, without fire? What strategy could possibly break through these seemingly impassable barriers? The answer, according to the divine instructions Joshua received, would be both unconventional and astonishing. But why Jericho? Why was this particular city so significant? Perhaps it was its strategic location. Perhaps it was the political implications. Or maybe it was the city's reputation, which made it a psychological barrier for the Israelites. Whatever the reason, the walls of Jericho stood as a physical manifestation of the challenges that lay ahead for the Israelites as they ventured into the Promised Land. They were about to face an adversary unlike any they had encountered before, an adversary protected by walls so sturdy they seemed to mock the very idea of conquest. The stakes were high, the odds seemingly insurmountable, and the method of attack most unusual. As we consider the impenetrable walls of Jericho, let's take a moment to think about the challenges we face in our own lives. Are there situations where we feel the odds are stacked against us, where the path to success seems blocked by seemingly insurmountable obstacles? Just as the Israelites faced the daunting task of conquering Jericho, we too have our own battles to fight. Perhaps it's overcoming personal limitations, breaking free from negative cycles, or achieving goals that seem just out of reach. The walls of Jericho serve as a powerful metaphor for the barriers we can encounter on our journeys. These barriers might be tangible or they might be abstract, but their impact is real. They can limit our perspective, confine our potential, and sometimes even shape our identity. Point 2, the strange march. Now the narrative takes an unexpected turn with God's unusual instructions for the Israelites. Forget swords and catapults. Their mission was much simpler. March around the city once every day for 6 days. On the 7th day, they were to march 7 times. And during the 7th lap, they were to blow their trumpets and shout. But why? What was the rationale behind this strange procession? What was the military logic of circling a city without engaging, much less attacking? Was it a tactic to exhaust the defenders, a psychological ploy, or was there more to it? It almost sounds preposterous, doesn't it? A military campaign where the army's primary weapon is not a sword or a spear, but a trumpet. This bizarre plan seemed to defy all logic, all military strategy, and perhaps even common sense. Yet Joshua, armed with unwavering faith in God's instructions, decided to proceed. So day after day, the Israelites faithfully circled the city, maintaining a strict routine that seemed more suited to a religious ritual than a military operation. Each circle was a test of their faith, each day a testament to their commitment to God's seemingly audacious plan. As they walked silently around the city, the question echoed, what was about to unfold? What purpose would this strange march serve? And how would it lead to the fall of Jericho? As we reflect on this stage of the story, let's think about times in our lives when we've faced situations that seem to defy conventional solutions. Have you ever been in a place where the problems you faced seemed so complex or so entrenched that simple solutions just didn't seem to apply? Maybe your challenges were financial, relational, or even spiritual. Perhaps you felt like you've been going in circles, trying different approaches without making any headway. The strange march becomes a powerful symbol of those moments when the path forward isn't clear and the solutions seem elusive. It reminds us that sometimes the most effective actions might not be the most obvious ones. Point 3, the trumpet blast. Now comes the climax. On the seventh day, after 6 days of silent marches, something extraordinary was about to happen. As the priests carrying the trumpets reached the city on the seventh circuit, they were to blow their trumpets loudly. And then came the Israelites' battle cry. The Lord has given Jericho over to Israel. 7 times they circled the city. And on the 7th time, the priests blew their trumpets and shouted at the top of their voices. That single blast of the trumpets was a pivotal moment. This was no ordinary sound. It wasn't just a call to action or a war cry. It was a divine signal, a declaration that resonated with the very essence of the Israelites' faith. This was a sound that proclaimed not just human strength, but divine power. It was as though the trumpets were channeling the voice of God Himself, announcing the impending doom of Jericho. Imagine the scene. The tension must have been palpable. The Israelites, after days of anticipation, were putting their faith into action. With every circle around the city, the stakes were raised. And then, bam, the trumpet blast. It wasn't just loud, it was momentous. It shattered the silence, broke the tension, and signaled the start of something monumental. In our lives, we often find ourselves in situations where we need to make a stand, where we must declare our beliefs, values, and commitments. Sometimes it might be in standing up for what's right in the face of peer pressure or societal norms. Other times, it could be in making choices that align with our faith despite external influences. The trumpet blast serves as a reminder that our voices matter. It encourages us to use our voices not just to amplify our own perspectives, but to proclaim what we believe in. Whether it's speaking out against injustice, sharing our faith, or simply standing up for what's right, each of us has a unique voice that can make a difference. Point 4. The victory. The immediate consequence of the trumpet blast was astounding. The city walls, which had stood as an emblem of Jericho's strength and invincibility, crumbled. It was as if the very foundation of the city had been shaken, causing it to collapse. The Israelites, armed with faith rather than just weapons, had breached the seemingly impenetrable defenses. The city that had taunted them with its robustness was now falling apart. The gates of Jericho, symbols of entry and security, swung open, welcoming the Israelites not as conquerors, but as victors of a most unusual battle. But the Israelites didn't just stop at breaching the city walls. Their victory went beyond a simple military conquest. They spared the lives of the inhabitants, choosing compassion over retribution. Furthermore, they allowed the citizens to keep their possessions. It wasn't a plunder, but a triumph of a different kind. Their victory was not just about conquest, it was about mercy. As we celebrate their victory, let's take a moment to appreciate the broader lessons it holds for us. Life isn't always fair, and sometimes victory can come when we least expect it. Sometimes it's not about brute force or overwhelming power, but about strategy, courage, and even faith. The Israelites didn't win by being the biggest or the strongest. They won by being strategic, faithful, and compassionate. Their victory was a testament to their unity, their obedience to divine guidance, and their capacity for mercy. It was a holistic triumph that resonated not just militarily, but also morally. In our own pursuits, whether they be professional, personal, or spiritual, it's important to remember that victory can take many forms. It's not always about brute force or overpowering others. Sometimes it's about being smart, being steadfast, and even being kind. The Israelites' victory at Jericho wasn't just a story of their triumph. It was also a lesson in humility, faith, and the complexities of victory. Closing reflection and call to action. As we bring this powerful narrative to a close, let's reflect on the profound impact of the Israelites' victory over Jericho. This wasn't just a military conquest. It was a testament to the power of faith, the strength of unity, and the importance of pursuing victory with wisdom and compassion. The story challenges us to look beyond conventional means of problem solving and to consider the unconventional methods that God might lead us to employ. It reminds us that victory can come in the most unexpected ways, and it urges us to approach our challenges with a combination of faith, strategy, and an unwavering commitment to our values. As we move forward in our own journeys, let the example of the Israelites' victory serve as a guiding light. Let it inspire us to pursue our goals with dedication, to trust in divine guidance, and to remember that true victory encompasses not just triumph, but also wisdom, compassion, and integrity. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the captivating account of the fall of Jericho. If you've been inspired by this story and want to dive deeper into the timeless teachings of the Bible, we invite you to hit the subscribe button. Don't miss out on future videos that will ignite your faith and deepen your understanding of Scripture. Until next time, may the spirit of adventure, faith, and victory from Joshua's time continue to guide you in your own life's journey.